Canada's anti-money laundering regulator, FINTRAC, has issued a penalty of almost $20 million against an outfit called Pecan Global, which is an operator of a major cryptocurrency exchange, KuCoin. The regulator says there were multiple violations of anti-money laundering laws. Let's get more from Adam Garretson, a leader of the Blockchain and Digital Assets Group and a partner at Gowling, the law firm. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a bit about KuCoin? And it is a significant cryptocurrency exchange?
Sure. So KuCoin is a large international offshore operating cryptocurrency exchange. They recently got levied with a very large administrative monetary penalty from FINTRAC, Canada's anti-money laundering regulator. And really the allegations are around failure to register in Canada with the regulator and failure to report suspicious activity.
And of course, that has been one of the criticisms of crypto. It can be used to launder money or to even fund terrorism.
Sure. But I would say that AML issues are not just specific to crypto. You know, we've been seeing more banks, casinos, real estate agents becoming more and more subject to increasing fines from FINTRAC over the past 12 to 18 months. So while this particular fine hit a crypto company, it was a bit of an outlier given the offshore nature and the nature of the allegations compared to the domestic industry where we've got lots of registered entities operating under the compliant framework.
Is that right? So we are, the crypto industry generally happy enough, the domestic one anyway, to register and have its operations supervised?
That's right. So compliance in crypto is really a competitive advantage these days. Domestic entities have registration both with FINTRAC from an AML perspective and also with Canadian securities regulators. So in this instance, we had a company that was offshore that had a history of alleged violations, not only in Canada, but in multiple jurisdictions around the world, including in Canada and the US under AML and securities laws. So that's very atypical compared to our domestic operating market.
Yeah, but the Americans put a big penalty on Pecan Global / KuCoin in January.
That's right. That's right. And so the Canadian regulator is also similarly levying greater and greater fines to entities that are registered or not registered, in particular, with the regulator.
So the company apparently registered in Seychelles is saying publicly, we plan to appeal this. So it looks as though they're acknowledging that they are subject to regulation by Canada anyway, or at least they're acknowledging that they're getting a fine. They're not just shrugging it off.
Yeah, and Canada's open for business, but offshore entities need to come in through the front door. Regulators are less willing to accept offshore entities that may or may not be conducting material violations without having substantive discussions and regulation proactively. So that's what we typically recommend when you're dealing with Canadians and Canadian citizens, to speak to counsel and look at how you can come into Canada through the front door.
The criminals, so we hear that ransomware ransoms are sometimes paid in cryptocurrency. So presumably criminals do still have ways of turning them into cash without supervision.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, criminals have lots of ways of obfuscating their nefarious activity, and crypto just happens to be one of the latest tools. But what we're seeing more and more is a developing regulated market and digital assets going to Main Street, to Bay Street, and into traditional finance. So really the underlying market infrastructure technology is becoming more and more systemically important.
Is this a real economic opportunity for Canada?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a global race right now for opportunity in digital assets. And Canadians in Canada are really looking at how we can enter this field. As I was saying, there's a real growing community in Canada of regulated entities that are looking to compete on a global level. And now is a pivotal moment for the ecosystem.
It's kind of interesting that regulation is a selling point. At least the customers know we're dealing with somebody who's supervised in some sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can think about the trust that's built from investors, users, and regulators, and think about the business that would trade away if your company was subject to headlines like this.
You have a warning that too much regulation, though, could curb the industry.
Absolutely. There's a number of people in the industry who want to see regulation developed on a balanced format that fosters innovation and allows companies to grow and thrive. I think the regulators and the industry are aligned in that, but it is a question of getting the balance right.
And you made a very good point. It's not just crypto where we have a problem with money laundering, and we have seen more actions in Canada going after casinos, etc.
That's right. So international standard-setting bodies and regulators look at what's happening in countries all over the world, and as enforcement steps up globally, Canada is a participant in that as well.
We'd better jump. Thanks very much indeed for coming in.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Our guest has been Adam Garretson, leader of the Blockchain and Digital Assets Group and partner